Monica Beaumont. Good afternoon.
Hi. Should I say hello, Mia Delville, councillors?
How do you do? Nice to see you.
Hopefully this will work, because I hear you've been having trouble. So this is a difficult sort of presentation for me, because I've been involved with heritage causes after the earthquake, and it's something that I feel very strongly about, and sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit too involved. So I've put this PowerPoint presentation together, so hopefully it's a little bit more concise than potentially what I could be. So heritage funding, why it's so important. Here's an example of someone reinventing themselves. This is a photo of my friend Dave, who owns Galaxy Records, and like me, after the earthquake, we were all forced into situations of reinventing ourselves and following our passions. And like me, heritage is a passion, and we're very much high street people. And I realised once the city had been body bagged that the high street was really in jeopardy. So I've pretty much dedicated all the post-quake time to trying to help preserve these buildings. And probably because I'm from Dunedin, and when I first came to Christchurch, I really thought this was a satellite city and I had no real sense of place. And so when High Street was body bagged, I really felt like I had no connection to the city. And I realised I was also the voice of a lot of other people that felt the same way. Our city has changed forever. We're not going to get back a lot of what we had. As I've written here, we've lost around 250 listed heritage buildings since the first earthquake. I think one of the hardest things for me was that most of these buildings were actually repairable, and this is why I think it's so important that we keep the funding the way it is, because there's so very few actual buildings left, and we need to treasure those that are left, particularly the inner city ones, which, you know, are very commercially viable. Some examples of buildings that, you know, have benefited from grants that we all enjoy. I recently went to a sale at the Maltz House on the left here, and it was just a wonderful experience. I walked in there and I bought some costumes and things, and the staff walked me around and talked to me about the heritage of the building, and it was just a wonderful experience. And you just don't get that kind of connection with new buildings. And so that's in my local community too, which, you know, is lovely. And also the theatre at night speaks for itself. Cafe Roma, also known as the Midland Building. This is another council-funded success story. And I've just put a quote in from the newspaper from Rob Farrell, co-owner, and also Sam Roth, the property developer. And I think I really sort of shared his sentiment too. I think that these buildings have good bones, and I think with council funding, it makes it a viable prospect to owners to actually kind of get these buildings up and running again. So that's Cafe Roma now, the Midland Building, and that's part of their interior, the cafe. I wanted to get a couple of quotes from property developers, and I thought probably one of the best ones would be Sean Stockman from KPI Rothschild. he's someone who's very much passionate about heritage buildings, and particularly in the High Street area. And for me, I think, like I've said here, heritage buildings are attractive spaces for boutique business and reflect cultural and aesthetic values of such enterprises. Without proper funding, these developments would most likely not go ahead. And his personal response to that statement was, funding is often the difference between saving or not saving a heritage building. Owners and potential owners of heritage buildings need council's financial support for us to make it happen. I wanted the opportunity before I finish to talk about the Harley building. Obviously there's the proposed hotel and subsequently the building's demolition. And I just think this is a really kind of disappointing outcome, probably because we don't have so many of these commercial buildings of this scale left. And I think when you look at it to the little building next door, the 69 Worcester Street building, the scale is attractive, the scale's friendly, pedestrian friendly, and the style's within keeping. And I think also in that area it is a cultural and heritage area, so I think that that's another reason why it should be demolished. I spoke to Chris Cherry from Workshop. He's been a long-term client of a business that we had, and he'd sort of been asking me for a long time after the earthquake, did I know any particular building that would be suitable for his new store? And he waited and waited and waited until the right situation came up. And for him, what he wanted was it either had to be preferably a heritage environment or something with architectural merit.
Monica, that's also come to the end of the 5 minutes, so did you want to show any other pictures before you wrap up?
Okay.
Not to speak to them, honestly, we have to move on, and the slides will go onto the hub so that all of the councillors will have access to them. Okay. But to be fair to other submitters that have been all given the same amount of time, I have to wind it up. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.